Hey everyone, it's Martin and welcome to C2E2 2026. It is a fantastic convention so far. I am here in the pop spot for Popverse and I am so excited today. One of the great actors of our time, this absolutely amazing artist. You've seen him in so many things. Jurassic Park, Law and Order, SVU, one of the absolute mainstays in Hollywood, and it's so exciting to have him here today. BD Wong, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really cool treat, so I really appreciate having you here.
That's nice, thank you.
Yeah. So I'm curious, with all the, you've done so many things. You've been so many wonderful characters. Jurassic Park is one that you're definitely known for in that's had a lot of longevity that most people probably weren't expecting beyond the first movie.
Yes.
So how, as your character has returned to the Jurassic Park world and we've kind of seen a change in their position and how they feel about the story and all of that, have you had an input as an actor to the evolution of your character?
My input to the evolution of the character is minor, but not non-existent. Colin Trevorrow was just really wonderful about, it was very sweet because he came to me and asked me if I would, consider playing the part again. And I had absolutely no reason to say no.
Yeah.
I thought it was very amusing actually that he would even be not sure if I would or not. But it's a rare opportunity to come back after, 23 years or something to play the same role. And he was really determined to deepen the character and give him something interesting to progress into. And so the conversations that I had with him were, little things here and little things there, but I wasn't particularly influential. He really kind of had a map for what he wanted it to be, I think.
Nice.
But he was, I like I said, kind of looking for my approval or, is this okay or whatever. And it was great. It was, I think he did really well by the character, by him.
So when you're asked to come back as a character like that, and it's something where you're going to be very recognizable to the fans, people are going to know who you are, but how do you take what they're starting to put together as a character who's had this past, now you're back in there, how do you keep that also interesting for you as an actor and try to put your interest into it and keep it really fresh, but keep it also recognizable for a fan base?
I didn't worry too much about keeping it recognizable for the fan base. I think luckily I haven't not been working for 22 years, so when I came into the movie, in the very early screenings of the movie, when the key came into the movie, the audience response was fantastic, this kind of warm recognition and surprise but no, there was no cluelessness about it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to work hard to make him recognizable or or for them to get who he was, or for me to even link the two movies at all. Colin did the heavy lifting, writing a part that explained without explaining what had happened since, and all I had to do was kind of just play it out, play out that he had come this far and that he had progressed to the point of success and even fame or whatever, to feel differently about it or have different perspective about it.
Nice.
About the whole accomplishment of it.
So I'm interested in, you've played a doctor at least 2 times in very significant properties, in these very significant stories. Do you have a personal interest in science where if they're trying to have scientific jargon, scientific work style, is this something where you're like, oh, I'm your person because you have kind of a science interest, or do you have to really work on any type of science language?
Yeah, I am not a science person.
Okay.
I'm decidedly not a science person. And I struggled in some ways with the psychological jargon from SVU. I blew a lot of film. I ruined a lot of takes trying to just say certain things and trying to, ask to showrunner Neil Baer, who was a doctor himself, what something, to explain, to get a crash course in basic psychological predilections. And so it wasn't natural to me. I became very tired of playing doctors over a course of time, to the point where my agent said, I think it's actually time to say no more doctors. And I used to get very annoyed when I was playing some kind of a medical person and I would go to the fitting and there was a lab coat on the rack.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh no, like, do I really have to wear the lab coat in this one? Do you really think, and it's such an iconic, understandably useful tool to put someone in a lab coat, and then you understand whatever you understand. Usually it means you trust them. That I had to often wear a lab coat, and it was really annoying to me. And so that, and having played these various parts, got me to a point where I said, I think I'm gonna kind of like take a break if I can from it. And that was helpful because other opportunities came my way that were decidedly not traditional doctor roles, and I embraced them. I really was grateful for them.
Yeah. Well, and so you've done animation. You were in the new Gremlins animated series.
Yeah.
Which was that like a kind of a nice break to be able to come in and have that character, not so much worry about any type of like wardrobe or anything like that, but really kind of be this character?
Yeah. I mean, the animation is so easy to do. It is. You don't have to have pants on. I mean, you usually do.
Do you have
but
a home booth for any of your audio?
No,
or did you
I don't.
Go in? Okay. So you had to put on a little bit of pants.
Yeah, I did have to put on it. But if you understand, you don't have to have hair and makeup. You don't have to, it's very simple to do this. It's decidedly simplified. And it was a great little job. It was a re-examination of the kind of origin story of the Gremlins, and so that brought us to the Chinese origins of the Gremlins, which and with the Chinese writers and Chinese American writer and showrunner. So there was a nice attention to detail that was put to it that I don't really see a lot, and that made me feel super comfortable about that particular show. It was a nice thing for kids, and for it was a not an obvious kind of way to reintroduce that franchise.
Absolutely. I'm hoping that actually gets a lot more life. And the showrunner and writer for that was someone back in the day when I was on Twitter, had followed them and just watched the progression of all of this and how hard they had been working for so long. It was really amazing.
Very passionate.
Extremely passionate, and also a very giving person in a time of social media where things can be very difficult.
Yeah.
Lots of people ask them questions and talk to them, and I don't know how they had the time to be able to give so much online at a time when they were also building out their own personal passions.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. He's great. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. Well, so with all that you have done, is there still a role or a story that's out there that is either eluded you, or you're working on it right now where you're like, this is the one?
There always is that. I mean, for me to say that would be, and make it seem like it's something that unique. I don't think, I can't even imagine that. I don't know, is Meryl Streep tired of getting new, interesting, different roles, and has she played them all? I bet she hasn't. I bet she you could figure out ways to like keep her like feeling delighted by the spirit of make believe and all of that stuff that we do, and so I have no shortage of things that I would love to continue to do. I always feel like I want more. I started out in the theater, and so I've returned in a big way to developing material for the theater, which includes scratching all the itches that I feel like I have yet to be able to, scratch. Really challenging things like solo work, and things that require a fair amount of stamina and technique. And I love that. And those two things you don't really explore so much in television and film.
Nice. So I've got one last question for you. And
Yeah,
since
sure.
we're here at a convention of so much nerdy and geeky goodness, do you have anything in particular that you're geeking out on right now?
Oh, am I? Not really when it comes to, well, I mean, we got some West Wing people here.
Yeah.
And, what a classic, iconic, wonderful, high quality, important, wonderful show.
Yeah. Martin Sheen was sitting right there
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh, God,
it was
great.
amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Amazing. The impact of that show, I don't think will ever fade. And the consistency of the performances and of the actors in that show and the ensemble and what each individual person brought to the table was really rare, I think, really special. Every single person in that show was excellent.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to see Alice and Janney out somewhere, like actually be around. That would be kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So, BD Wong, thank you so much for this.
Hey,
this was really special.
Of
Thank
course,
you.
man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure.